Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr.B. In this segment, we are going to talk about the dating scene and the dynamics within certain groups of dating. Now, in Black dating, there seems to be some animus between Black men and Black women. And Kevin Samuels attempted to tackle this topic on a video that he did asking, why are Black men disrespected by their own women? Now, I haven't seen this video, but he apparently interviews a young modern woman, and this discussion comes up. And I'd like to explore it and weigh in and on the conversation. So without any further ado, let's jump ahead and get that done. Let's add to the stage and play.
You put the onus and responsibility on men. In California, but ooh-wee, a different vibe out there, man. Different vibe. I ain't gonna hate on them. It's just, it's just a different vibe. I think as men, we need to start standing on the fact that we built this world. Women take for granted everything that we've done. And as men, you need to start standing on the fact that when you open the door, she should say thank you. Not for saying opening the door, for the fact that the damn door exists. Some man somewhere designed that door, and that door keeps that building secure. Sure, there are women that do this kind of thing, but you guys understand it, because ultimately it seems like women today are, gentlemen, is it me? Or does it seem like modern women are searching for things to find a problem with? I'm only got about another 30 minutes to go, and then there's another show that's going to be on another platform. But is it me, or does it seem like modern women are looking for things to find offensive? Hello? She decided to bounce herself on up out of here. Yeah, that door thing. I'm serious. Every time women start talking that step, ask her, do you want to live on the 100th floor of a building that was spec'd out, designed, and made strictly by women who think like you do? No, because that building will come tumbling down. It's like somebody seriously, it's like, you know what? What can I find to complain about men today? The fact that they want me to smile. How dare them? How dare them? Man, I'm riding up. How dare them? You want me to smile? I should not be forced to smile at you. I should not have to be worried about, wow. Okay. Hello.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. How old are you?
I am 27. I'll be 28 in a few weeks.
Okay, do me a favor. Set your phone down so you can steady and you can stay in frame.
Okay. Let me put this light right here.
All right, what you got for me? What's your disagreement?
I don't really have a disagreement. I kind of agree with everything that you said. I do feel like women, like with the angry part, I don't necessarily feel like it's intentional. I don't think like Black culture as a whole has taken accountability in getting like mental health help and basically getting help with dealing with all the things that we went through. And I think
hold on. You don't think that Black women are intentionally mean to Black men? First off, I need you to get back into the center of the camera. You're off to there we go. More right there. You don't think that they're intentionally mean?
In some cases, yes.
Okay.
But
do you think it's more likely that they are or are not?
I would say are not.
Okay, so how many times have you heard of men going to Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, someplace, post office, and there's a black woman behind the counter, and they greet everybody else with a smile. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And when the black man comes up, it's just straight transaction.
Go ahead.
Have you heard of this?
Yes.
That is intentional.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that. Yes.
And it happens all the time.
I've actually had that happen to me one time. I had a tire or something that went out on me, and I was with a lady friend of mine, and we stopped by this tire fixing place, and getting the tire fixed. At the end of the night, I'm going to pay for the replacement tire, and there's an older black lady at the counter, and I'm cordial. She speaks to my friend, my lady friend. She talks to her, and she's like, "Hey, she's all friendly." So I'm like, "Oh, awesome." Now the receipt was printing out on the little cash register, and I just went to grab the receipt so I could sign, the receipt and be done with the transaction. And the lady slapped my hand. Her energy was totally different to me than it was to my lady friend. Now I saw other people come in there, and she didn't have that disposition. So it is true. There are some ladies that are a little rough around the edges. They're a little mean. So there's some truth to what Kevin is saying here. And when he used that example, I think she saw it too. Let's go. Let him continue.
It is.
White man opens the door for a black woman. Thank you. Hispanic man, thank you. Black woman, I can't open the door my damn self. I don't need to be with all this reckless eyeballing and happy facing. Great.
Yeah, you're right. But I think it's just be nice to all people. Like I know that your point is like black women being angry with black men, but
my point is women like yourself who can make the point you made are part of the problem. Let me tell you why. Because you don't call your sisters out to own it. You give her the benefit of the doubt. If you see her doing that, if you think, well, she must have just been having a bad day, or she must know him from somewhere else. Because if she was nice to everybody, so you do call him out on it.
It's not necessarily that I call him out on it, but if my opinion was to be asked for, like I just
no. Black women don't need their opinion to be asked for. Y'all give y'all's opinion all the goddamn time. Knock that shit off. So let's take the McDonald's example or the post office example. If you saw a line of people and that woman said, hi, and a black man, she just said, what would you do? Honestly, what would you do?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. You're right. I wouldn't say anything because I would feel like it's not.
That's why you're part of the problem. You can watch a black man get disrespected and you say nothing because of the damn sisterhood code. So when black men hear you talk about you care about us and your struggles and your traumas for us, we think you're full of crap because you can see it and you don't say it. When you could easily say, dang, sis, you ain't gonna even say hi to the brother?
Yeah.
But see, let's flip it up. If a black man was nice to everybody else and then he saw a black woman, he just, you gonna say anything? Yeah, so you got to pause.
See, I'm not a confrontation.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter, you had to pause and think about it. Well, see, there was no pause of deliberation when there was a woman doing it to a man.
All right. So now this is going to go into our question. she acknowledged it. I mean, which was kind of shocking. She acknowledged that there is this sort of difference in treatment between when, you know, sisters are interacting with brothers versus when they're interacting with others. I don't know what that is. To be totally honest, I don't know what that is. It could be some, you know, psychological animus that they have, maybe due to their own upbringing within their homes. A lot of times people are growing up in households where, you know, they don't have both parents, and maybe there's an animus or something towards the male figures in their life, or for their presence not being there, and they project that in their later life when they interact with older men. You know, maybe there's a chip on the shoulders as a result of that. I can't speak to it, but the mere fact that these people are two different ages. Kevin Samuels is much older. This is a woman who's probably close to his daughter's age, and she reluctantly had to acknowledge that there's some truth to what he's saying. So the fact that she's acknowledging that there's some truth to what he's saying means this isn't a problem that just exists with Kevin's peers, women of his age range. This is also happening with a generation beneath, which means this behavior is being taught to women, to younger women in different generations. And I think that's interesting because, you know, sometimes, you know, we can't see eye to eye on a lot of things, and the way we interact with each other has a very disrespectful undertone. And I don't know what that's about.
No, Kevin, I don't think that was the point I was trying to get across. Like in that situation, I would I would give you an example. Like for me at work per se, like I have patients of all different races and I work with people of all different races. If I intentionally see somebody being mean in that type of setting, I would definitely open my mouth to say
something. But that's the difference at work, because you have some authority at work. I'm talking about in life.
You're right.
See, the fact
I feel more like it's a controlled setting at work, and it's like I would feel like,
let's be honest, you feel safe because you wouldn't want to say something to her because you're afraid she's going to get ignorant with you too.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame. Because you can see a black woman be nice to everybody else and disrespect to be mean to a black man, and you wouldn't even stand up. First off, just out of solidarity to the man, you afraid of her too. Are y'all that much of a problem? Think about it. You're a black woman. You be afraid to say something to a black woman. Huh? Make it make sense.
Yeah. It would depend on the setting.
It has to depend on the setting, and that's a damn shame. Because when a black man says, when a black woman needs protection or something,
it don't matter.
And black man be like, that ain't my wife or whatever. And then y'all be like, well, if he said, well, depending on the setting, I do something, y'all are pretty equivocal. No, you should do something no matter what. You don't defend us like you say you do. You don't cut for us like you say you do. And you just gave two examples to where I would say something, and I've heard women twice your age say the same thing, and they're in the medical field too.
Mm-hmm.
Black men are on our own when it comes to y'all.
I get the point that you're trying to make. I do.
But do you have brothers? Do you have brothers?
I have a baby brother.
How old is he?
Ricky is 15.
Okay. Well, do you want your brother to be out here on his own, or would you tell him to go get a different race of woman?
Of course, I would be pro black women at first.
Okay, so knowing black women, he's out on his own with black women for the most part. You tell him to go suffer that.
I will hope he get a woman.
Hope. Brothers, this is why I ask the questions, to see what they do with the men they say they love. And we still throw the men you say you love goes behind the code of the black woman. So
no,
even your brother,
you said that if he
in general, man, we're talking in generalities. In generalities, if I just said the black man is on his own when it comes to y'all, because y'all, and all the examples are we were on the same page. We were tracking. Then I threw your brother into it, and I said, your brother in the same scenario, what would you tell him? Would you tell him to get out here and just roll the dice and have to worry about this woman over here and a woman like yourself not saying anything? Or would you say just deal with a different group of women? And then it comes down to no, just still deal with us. Means what you're ultimately saying is black men have no agency, no choice. We have to accept you.
No. He can go with whoever he loves, but of course
I ask you, what would you want for him?
I would want him to be with a sane black woman.
Ooh. Now, this is a bit controversial, but I think there's a point that he's making. What he's saying is he first painted the picture where she acknowledges that black women do treat black men in a very adversarial way, meaning their energy is not as warm and welcoming when a black man walks in the room, as opposed to the example he used if a white man held the door open for a black woman. The young lady, who's probably half his age, acknowledged that that is in fact the case. But then he asked her, hey, okay, you have a brother. What would you want for your brother? Would you subject your brother to the same treatment from the women who's currently treating black men like that now? Or would you think it would make more sense for him to go ahead and to date outside of his race if he could be treated better? So essentially what he's saying is, if your brother being treated better by the woman he chooses to love and marry meant that he had to go outside of his race to date a woman who would treat him with respect, who would honor him, would you want that for him? And her answer is, I would still want him to date a woman that looks like him. I understand it. I understand that there's the sister code, but his point is, you're not standing up for the men you say you love, which is a lot of times is black men from your own bloodline, right? Like, if you love your brother, why wouldn't you want him to be in a loving relationship where he's being treated with respect and honor? Why would you acknowledge that some black women, I'm not saying all, some black women treat black men negatively and still want that for your brother? So he kind of painted her into a corner now, and I'm not sure if she's going to be able to clean it up, but you know, that's sort of the question here. And I'd ask that to the audience. You know, you guys weigh in, those who are logged in, comment. What is your position on this particular point that he's making here? Why would it be advantageous for her brother to date someone that looked like him but treated him like less than, versus him dating someone that don't look like him but treated him like a king? Let's see if she can come up with a good answer.
Where y'all at?
I just relocated to Vegas, but my family is
I said that as a joking way, ma'am, because when you go back and listen to this playback, yeah, the sisterhood code is strong. We're talking about your baby brother, and you still like, well, I hope black before everything else.
No, it's not that, Kevin. I don't think it's black before anything else. I don't think all black women are like me and the women that you describe. I would hope he would get a woman that would stand up and defend him where it matter. No,
do you not watch videos on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram where these young black men are telling you they don't date black women, don't deal with black women? Why? Because they mean?
Yeah.
So when are you gonna start listening to the men and stop telling us about and instead of going on what you think and want to believe?
I do listen to men a lot, actually.
See, I asked that question about race, not because I'm an advocate for dating out and everything else, because it crystallizes black women. Y'all want black men to be loyal no matter what.
But we got to get our stuff together. I know.
You want black men to be loyal, but you won't even be nice. Or you won't even require other women to be nice. See, the answer would have been better if you were to check the woman behind the counter who was mean to that black man or dismissive of him. Then maybe somebody would do it for your brother.
Oof. Very valid point. He made a very valid point, right? I think anybody would want their family to be treated well. And I think it does become a very controversial thing when we start talking about men dating outside of their race. I just recently did a show where Dr. Umar, who's an advocate for Black love, and he's constantly trying to get Black people to stick together and marry together, procreate together. He was talking to Nick Cannon and telling Nick Cannon has multiple children with different women from different races. And he brought it to his attention saying, well, why are you not choosing sisters to procreate with? And Kevin just raised the point that a lot of Black men, younger ones, and some older ones, their feedback, especially online, is that they don't feel like their sisters treat them with the love and the respect that they deserve. So they don't feel love there. And a lot of them are considering other options. And that, for some, means that they are dating outside of their race and they're trying to find more feminine women who are less combative and more easy to get along with. And this young lady, I think she's not even conscious of it, but subliminally, I would say subconsciously, she is defending, Black love in a way. She's saying that not all women treat men like that, and that's true. But what he's saying is that there's such a uptrend of women who do, that a lot of men are really weighing their options outside of dating within their race. And so if that is something that she can even acknowledge is something she's getting back as the feedback from men and from her peers and things of that nature, and also from Kevin, who's an older man who was talking about it, then it must mean that the problem is a real one, not one that's so minute that it doesn't need to be addressed. Part of what he's saying is sometimes you have to speak up. You have to actually be willing to say to your homegirl or to the lady who's looks like you, but talking down in a derogatory way to another Black man, like, come on, sis, go easy on him, because we still got to show our brothers that we love them so that they can choose us, so that they can continue to keep our family and our lineage going, right? If you alienate your men, then oftentimes they might not choose you. And it's true. Just from a statistical standpoint, the marriage rate is relatively low. And I think Black people tend to get married at a lower rate. I think it's like 1 in 4 women get married. And of that, a lot of times, 80% of those marriages end up in divorces because the women tend to, I'm not going to say 80, I'm sorry, I'm wrong with that statistic. I think it's like 50. The divorce rate's like upwards of 50, but 80% of the time women are initiating the divorces. So fewer people are getting married, but then there's a higher divorce rate. And then 80% of the time the women are initiating the divorce. So it means that there's a lot of unmarried women, but part of the reasons why that's the case is because we're not treating each other nicely. We're not being respectful to each other. I think on the men's side too, there are men that could be a lot more respectful. There are some men that could be out of pocket in terms of how they talk to women and things of that nature. So they do have to button up. But at the same time, it is widely known, as they're both talking about it from two different standpoints, him being an elder statesman and her being a younger woman, that she's witnessed it in her lifetime and he's witnessed it in his lifetime. And they both acknowledge that people are talking about it on TikTok. It's a point of controversy. So it is a problem that does need to be addressed. And unfortunately, it's not being addressed. And his point is, don't just allow it to happen. Speak up when you see it happening.
Then maybe the overall ethnic image and maybe the overall temperament of how Black women interact with Black men in public that they don't know would increase. So your brother would have a better percentage chance. But as long as everybody's doing what you do, chances going down.
Yeah. And I can't say, like, I wouldn't necessarily say would be afraid as far as the physical part, but it's just like, if you dealing with an angry person and it's just like, you never know
ma'am, we know what it is. And the fact that no matter how you slice it, it's sad.
Yeah. But I do love Black men, and I wish that this wasn't the perception they had on us, because it's like, your natural.
Is it accurate?
Yeah.
Then it's not. Then why do you wish Black men did not accept an accurate perception?
Not that they wouldn't say. I just wish it wasn't there. Like I wish they
There's no
felt like.
wish. No. The perception is there because it's accurate. There's no need to wish that black men didn't have a perception. What you're wishing for black men, what you're basically saying is, I wish black men didn't have this perception of us. The perception is true and accurate. So you're saying you wish that black men didn't have a true, accurate perception of black women. That's wrong. What you should say is, I wish black women didn't act the way they did, or they would do
Yeah,
the work and change
that's
their
what I
perception.
mean. Like I don't
But
want
that's not what you
that.
said.
Yeah.
See, the way you put it, you put the onus and responsibility on men instead of putting it accountability on women. Language is tricky like that. I wish that the black men didn't have this perception. That puts it on men to change their perception instead of saying, I want black women to do the work to change our perception in black men's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That accomplishes the same thing. That accomplishes what you want to have as an outcome, right?
Yes.
Well, who does it put the accountability on? The men or the women?
Women.
Thank you.
Okay. I think Kevin Samuels has made a very, very compelling case. Shout out to the young lady, though. She was very respectful, and I think she was honest. The question is it true that black women don't defend black men? I think the case was made here. And I don't know. I mean, if we did a survey on this, if you went on TikTok and different social media platforms and saw what the conversation was, men is kind of giving the feedback that they don't feel honored, respected, loved, or cherished in those relationships. And this is not all men, so let me not go there with it. But it is a sentiment that some men do have. And I think subconsciously she didn't even know that she was saying, I'm not happy that black men have this perception of us. But Kevin Samuel said something so good. He was like, it's not that they're having an inaccurate perception of you. If that's the accurate perception of you, they're not wrong for acknowledging what is there. So the problem isn't the fact that they notice that they're not being treated or well received. The problem is that they're not being treated well. So the people who's not treating them well should change that so that that perception will change. I think that's the point he's making. And it's a point of emphasis. Young girl, very sweet. She seems like a very loving person. So shout out to her. This is not meant to throw rocks at one side or the other, but it is to say that we all could self-correct on a lot of different aspects. And I think some of this stuff has to do with a lot of traumas and internal hurts that people have had in their past. And, it shapes how they deal with people in their present and in their future. And I don't even know a lot of women know that men are even perceiving them that way. It's just what it is. And, when that's the case, it creates this rift between the two parties. But Kevin made a valid point. I think the Godfather hit it on the head this time. And I think the fact that he's bringing it to the table for conversation and for some reflection is because he wants to see that dynamic change. So, more power to him. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. He was definitely a voice of reason. And he wasn't loved by everyone, but he definitely was effective in terms of bringing light to some of the issues that exist in relationships between men and women, of all races, actually, not just black people. But, hopefully this was a teachable moment for the young lady to kind of help to keep her and her girls accountable, just, making sure everybody's good. In the same way men should do that too. If you're an older man and you're around men who are being rude and disrespectful to a woman, you got to tell the man to be a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But in the same way, ladies, you got to do the same thing with your lady friends. The sister code can't be so strong that you can't correct each other when, somebody is being disrespectful or, unruly towards a man that looks like you. So that being said, I thank you guys for joining for the conversation. I'm now reaching my little segment timer here. I welcome your feedback. If you are not already a subscribed member of the Intercourse Show, I ask that you like and subscribe and you stay connected. But I also invite you to comment and leave your point of view in the comment section. Let us know what you think about this topic. Is it true that Black women don't defend Black men, or that they don't necessarily treat them as nicely as they treat others? Is that something that women do need to correct? Do you think the women do everything right, and it's really the men who sort of prompt that from them? Weigh in, let us know what you think, and let's have the conversation. Until we speak again, I thank you guys for tuning in, and also for just rocking out with us on this show. All right, so be well until we speak again. God bless.